Welcome to Kickin' at Cage Side with Brett Ott, and here we are with Kyle Watson. Kyle, big news coming up. I guess you're going to be down at the UFC Fan Expo with hopefully a Brazilian super fight. Can you kind of talk to us a little bit about that?
Yeah, I'm pretty excited. The UFC, in conjunction with their Fan Expo that they have in Las Vegas coming up, they always have a grappling tournament there too, and Grappler's Quest runs that. So Brian Simmons from Grappler's Quest and one of the matchmakers for the UFC contacted me and asked if I'd be willing to do a grappling super fight, and I was like, oh, of course, man, I'm all on board. I love any time to showcase my grappling skills, and plus obviously in front of that kind of fan base, those are my people, and so it's good to kind of get in front of them, get a little more exposure. But it'll be pretty exciting. So I'll have a matchup on Friday of the Expo, and it's actually a 4-man tournament. So if I win on Friday, I will be back again Saturday to fight in the finals. Don't know who I have as an opponent. There's been some names tossed around a little bit. First, they were talking about maybe Bill Cooper, a couple other names. But typically, they try to match up a really good, respected jiu-jitsu guy that's got a lot of grappling credentials. They try to match them up with a well-known MMA fighter that also has good grappling credentials. So it usually makes for an exciting matchup. So we'll see who I get. Either way, I'm coming there to bring it.
Kind of tell us a little bit about your jiu-jitsu background. I mean, how and when did you get into the sport?
Yeah, I got into it. This is actually coming up September. It'll be 13 years for me, so I've been doing it for a long time. Really passionate about it. Fell in love with the sport in college. And that's kind of how I started my MMA career. I wanted to see if jiu-jitsu really worked in a realistic setting, and I was a UFC fan, so that's how I kind of got into that. But yeah, started in college and just fell in love with it, and then stuck with it. And then I got to the point where I achieved a certain level where I was like, I really I've gained a lot from this sport, and I kind of want to give something back. So it started off just kind of doing it on the side and trying to just passionate about teaching. I got my college degree in education, so I'm a people person and I like to share knowledge, so it just seemed like a great fit, and so then I started teaching on the side, and then it developed into a full-time job, and now I get to live my passion every day.
Now, you first came to St. Louis as you got the position of head Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu instructor at the Hit Squad back during the Matt Hughes kind of days. Just kind of tell us how you got involved with that and what that was like.
Yeah, it was it was kind of a crazy deal. A lot of really weird circumstances. But I was working at my position that I had. I worked for a company called Kaplan in Champaign. I was their operations manager, but I fought and competed on the side, and I was also teaching on the side. And I had done well enough in the local circuit to kind of get people to know who I was and get the name out there a little bit. Enough so that Mark Fiore, the head of Matt Hughes' camp, kind of picked up on it. He contacted me. I'm sitting at my desk thinking it's a prank call, and he asked me if I want to come in and try out for it to be the head jiu-jitsu coach. I went down there, interviewed, it clicked, and I quit my job, moved down there, and was at the Hit Squad for about 4 years and loved every minute of it.
Just kind of tell us a little bit what was that atmosphere like, and just kind of what did you pull from working with one of the greats of all time in the UFC?
Yeah, it was crazy. Matt runs a pretty intense camp and really has a strong work ethic. Really believes that everybody should push themselves really hard. So it's definitely a really tough environment, but I think it's really, really great for MMA. It was an amazing experience because with the dorms, we had all these international fighters that came in all over the world from every different state, and they would stay there, and each one had different experiences, different stories. So it was great to meet so many people and have such great relationships, but at the same time work hard, train hard with all these different bodies and energies, and then I got to share my knowledge with them and send them home with something that I was able to give them.
Yeah. So. Can you tell us what was about Matt's thoughts and approach on jiu-jitsu?
I think everybody knows Matt's thoughts and approach on jiu-jitsu. His approach is the best defense to an armbar is a punch to the face. Yeah. I think everyone knows that line. But he was able to really utilize his wrestling skills a lot of times in his fights to stay out of danger, and he has strong enough top game to not get swept and not get caught in submissions very often. And obviously we all know he has a really vicious ground and pound game.
Right.
So he's definitely more a wrestler, but he understands the jiu-jitsu game too. So.
Did he slowly kind of embrace it, come to it, and realize what he could kind of glean from it?
No, I don't think he ever embraced it. I think he made it very clear that it was American wrestling. But that being said, though, he did use jiu-jitsu all the time. He grappled. Obviously, look at his matches. He submitted people. That's not wrestling. It's jiu-jitsu. So he definitely blended it, but I don't know if he'll claim it.
And just kind of talk a little bit. How do you deal now? I mean, you're coaching a lot of guys now. Jake Heck was just recently in the UFC down in Florida. And you're still, kind of keeping your fighting career going. I mean, it just must be a tough balance between where you give your energies towards coaching and put it into your own career.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's one of the hardest balances, the things that I've had to, face. Because it's kind of like, it tossed up. It's like, do I sacrifice my own improvement or do I sacrifice my students? But somewhere along the line, my role shifted, and I feel so much more passionate about, helping others achieve. It's not that I'm done achieving. I still have a lot of goals that I want to reach. But I feel like I've done some of the things that I wanted to do, and I feel like I can still find that balance. But it's going to definitely shift and lean more towards helping other people achieve their goals. My fight career is winding down, but I do still have a few left in me, and I'm always going to compete in jiu-jitsu. So the joints are feeling a little old, but.
Well, tell us a little bit about your website.
Well, yeah, the website's I look at it as a great way to interact and stay in contact with people, not only those who are interested in checking out what we have to offer, but also my current students. It serves as a good resource for them. But it's a great way, like for anyone that wants to know more about my school, about my background, about my other coaches' background, what we have to offer, and what all the hubbub is about. The school is really grown, and we have a lot to offer. We're changing a lot of people's lives, and really I feel like improving the community. And so I think it's a great way for them to connect. And I'm really, I really enjoy interacting with everyone. So there's lots of ways on there to interact, both contacting myself and there's a forum for members and what have you. But anything that's going on, like current news and what have you, I like to post it. Like for example, yesterday I was teaching a seminar and I came right home, posted some pictures, let people know what was going on. But yeah, I like to stay really interactive with people.
Colin, I appreciate you for coming out, the first episode of Kickin' at Cage Side, and thanks again for taking time and stopping by.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me, and if you guys are interested, come check out Watson Martial Arts. Try it out for free.